Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's another beautiful Saturday. Great to have you with us. This is Wander to the Edge.
I'm the Wander. I'm Suzanne from Where Gals Wander, otherwise known as Zan.
And I'm the Edge part. My name is Adam Asher, and I'm from the Edge of Adventure. And this is a special interview, chat, travel conversation that we have every Saturday. Zan and I have been friends for a long time, and she's on the West Coast of the U.S. I'm on the East Coast. And we just like to get together every Saturday, have this chat, share it with everybody stateside and around the world. We've got so many great friends who join us from Europe and South America and Australia. Isn't that right, Zan?
It's true. So we're West Coast, you're East Coast, and today we're going to talk to Jordan, who is from all the coast. He is from Australia.
So also a very experienced traveler. You guys are going to get, if you don't already know him, you're going to enjoy getting to know him today as we hear a little bit about who he is, what he's been through, why he loves to travel, and what he's all about. Jordan is coming up next today, right here
on Wander to the Edge. Hey, Jordan.
Good morning.
Jordan, great to have you on the show, brother. It's something we've been looking forward to, getting to know you and learning more about your travels. Let's start, Jordan, by pronouncing your last name.
So it's Jordan Desira. It's Maltese. Most people assume it's Italian.
Got it.
Maltese. Yep. Awesome. Say it one more time.
Desira.
Desira. Oh,
yeah,
that's great. Awesome. Hey, I think that's part of why you're doing so well is you have an amazing last name. So congrats.
I actually like it. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, it works well. It works well, brother. So again, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And one reason we're really excited to have you, other than your name, is just, your account and what you do on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube is really all about you. And I just love how authentic it is. I love the way that you just tell the story. And you're one of the few accounts that really inspire me, right? You're just so real. And I think it was one of those posts that you made talking about how you get to be stronger physically, stronger mentally, stronger just in terms of spirit. And maybe just share for us a little bit, how did you get started with all this?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate everything you just said. I became obsessed with self-development. I want to live a big life. And I figured the best way to do that is to build myself to achieve a lot. And growing mentally, physically, learning more about who I am, what I want, it just helped me so much. And getting obsessed with developing it's allowed me to understand more of who I am, more of what I want. And the more I dig deep into that, the more people I surround myself, the more people I attract that are very similar with mindsets. And it becomes very easy to see what I want, and it becomes clear of things that I don't want. And it's addictive. It's incredible. It's the most fulfilling and satisfying thing I've pursued. And I know that traveling the world full time is just one of the many things that I do want to do. And yeah, it feels right. It feels like I'm on the right path, and I love them.
Jordan, so many of us, I think it's just maybe part of the human experience. We crave transformation. So there's something about who we are that we don't like. There's something about who we are that could be better, that we could improve. And I think, again, that's a part of the human experience. And it could be any number of things. And oftentimes it is. It doesn't have to be one particular thing. So I'm going to ask you, though, what's one of the ways in your life you've experienced a transformation?
4 years ago, my father passed, and he was basically my best friend. And I found that the best way to grieve and overcome it was to find meaning through it. So I found ways to use his death as motivation in terms of living on for him, living a bigger life. He always wanted to travel the world. So I got into photography. I was never into photography. And then when he passed, I got his camera. And that kind of encouraged me to get into photography and vlogging. And it just kickstarted the whole traveling and development and doing things for him, then doing things for myself, enjoying the process of doing so. And like you said, I think most people need meaning, most people need a purpose. And a lot of us pursue what we feel like we should be doing rather than what we want to do. And once you find something that you love to do, it's just all you do is want to work, like what you guys are currently doing at the moment. You guys are doing this incredible podcast of just sharing all these amazing stories and experiences. It's just what you guys love to do. So you're great at it because you're passionate about it. And that's what I think life is, just finding and doing what you love to do.
For me, it's also just the connecting, right? And finding you referenced it just now in your answer, surrounding yourself with the right kind of people who encourage you and that you connect with to kind of push you forward. As you were starting this, and I just have to also say I'm struck by how wise you are. You're kind of like an old soul. I get that from you, you know?
Thank you.
So how, as you're getting started, how do you determine that? How do you determine the right people to surround yourself with and then the others where you have to say goodbye?
I suppose when you start to know who you are, you know who you aren't. And when people, for example, for me, I grew up with the conditioning of drinking, social media, like drinking 9 to 5, university, doing things that we have to do, right? All my friends just went out on the weekends and partied. And then when I got to a stage where I wanted more out of life, I detached myself to going out, to partying, to different priorities like working on myself, going to the gym, traveling, educating myself. And it became very clear to me that some people in my life, regardless how much I love them and how much they mean to me, I need to let go because I'm evolving and I need to surround myself with more ambitious people, more people that more positive influence. And it just becomes very obvious that who you want in your life it should be there and who you don't want in your life, just, you don't make time for them. And I guess the older you get, people make time for those they care about, and you just gotta suck it up and cut the cord with some people, I guess.
Jordan, there's a lot of things we're going to need to talk about today. You're fascinating, and you are wise. You are wise, brother, and we're gonna have fun getting to know you more. But since we do our best to pretend that this is a travel show, right, and keep up those appearances, let's talk about how travel factors into your life's pursuits. And I know from what you've already said and from your platform that there's a lot more to it than just the travel. But how does the travel part factor in to who you are and what you want out of life?
I love adventure. I love experiencing things. I've always had the perception that life is one big experience, and traveling is deemed as just such a priority to so many people because traveling provides so much experiences. You experience different cultures, different nationalities, different foods, different experiences and traditions. You experience so much more. And just because you're born and bred in one place doesn't mean you have to be limited to staying here. So for me, traveling's always been exposing me to the world, and it just kind of enhances me to see. It puts things in perspective. When you go to places like Southeast Asia or Africa, and then you come back home, you understand how good you have it and how appreciative you have, and like you're so grateful for so much more. The more you see, the more you want to do, and you it feels like you're not limited. And it's hard because when you come back to normality, it hits you harder, but you just appreciate everything and everyone so much more. And traveling just encourages all that. It just enhances all that. Yeah.
So tell us how you got started traveling. You kind of shared the backstory about with your dad and such, but where did you start? Like, what were some of the first places that you went to go visit?
At first, I started traveling with my family, so I was very lucky to be born into a family where they brought us into. We went to Thailand when I was 4, to New Zealand. We did the States as a family trip, and it was phenomenal. It just showed me how much there is to see and do. Just being born from Australia, being in Australia is limiting sometimes, but seeing what the world has to offer was just so addictive. And I found after my family trips that I wanted to do solo traveling. So I began my adventures. I moved to London for 2 years and traveled most of Europe just so I could save and travel. Then I started to backpack, do some Asia. I did Africa last year. And there's so many different styles of traveling. I've done tours, I've done solo, friends, family, but there's just so much more I want to try. There's like, I don't think there's anything I don't want to try. And that's the beauty of traveling. It just offers something different for everyone. So I started with my family, and I guess I've caught the travel bug, if that's, yeah. And it's just something I'm definitely gonna pursue for the rest of my life. So
Jordan, travel mindset. You know, you talk a lot in your posts about the importance of mindset, and I don't know. I think it's there's a struggle there sometimes for some of us. The mindset, we can approach things with a defeatist attitude. We can assume things are going to be the worst versus the best, or we believe the worst about ourselves instead of the best. What do you think, in your wisdom that we've already established, what do you think, Jordan, is the greatest challenge to the human mindset?
self-doubt. People just don't believe in themselves. People, they're just scared of like the unknown. They're scared of taking a risk, especially just in believing in what they can accomplish. A lot of people personally that I know, they just settle for a life they don't want to live because they don't believe they can achieve what they actually want to achieve. Some people know what they want to do, some people don't, some people don't look for it. But I think self doubt just trembles all that. People just live in fear, doing things they have to do instead of doing things that they want to do. And I guess that just boils down to scared of failure, scared of failing, regardless if it's a 9 to 5, regardless if it's their passion. And it's just self doubt, self confidence, and self belief, I guess.
You also talk a lot about discipline, not discipline in the sense of being rigorous or punishing yourself, but just in terms of keeping up that mindset, staying focused, um, keeping your eye on those goals and really moving towards them. Have there been times where you found yourself straying from that? And sort of what advice would you give others to get back on track, to get back in that mindset, to stay focused?
Yeah, no, I think discipline and consistency is the key to everything, personally, for me. And I guess when a lot of people get sidetracked because their goals aren't specific. If you set a larger goal and then smaller goals to achieve those things, it all these small habits every day play a massive part in what you can accomplish and what you will accomplish. People just need to set specific goals in order to achieve it. And discipline plays a huge aspect in that because if you love what you're doing, then putting in the extra work is just going to feel effortless. It's not going to feel like work. You're going to want to wake up earlier. You're going to want to stay on track with, if it's your diet, if it's your finance, if it's your relationship, if it's the pursuit of pursuing your goals. You would want that. It's not going to be forced. So staying disciplined just means that you need to find what you're passionate with. And yeah, there's going to be times where you're not motivated to wake up earlier or to do a certain task. But if it's important to you, you have to understand that the only thing preventing you from achieving what you want is putting in the work. And if you want to live a large life, then what are you doing when 10,000 other people are doing the same thing? You need to hold yourself accountable and therefore just set small goals to achieve your large goals. That's one thing that personally just helps me.
Jordan, anybody that has followed or as they will follow your platform, they're going to notice that also another concept that's important to you is fitness. And I think the discipline of what you're describing now factors in to the fitness question and getting in shape and being in shape and staying in shape and these kind of things. How does fitness factor into the Jazira, Jordan Jazira platform?
Fitness, with self-development, I got into fitness a bit late, but fitness, you hear a lot of people say that it's life-changing, and it truly is. Once you start to become disciplined, once you start to see these results, once you start to educate yourself with nutrition or weightlifting or cardio, it becomes so addictive. And it's not only the physical stance, it's more of, a lot of people go to the gym for the clarity aspect. It's therapy for a lot of people. It's their escape from the hustle and bustle of the 9 to 5. And fitness just shows that you have to be disciplined, committed. It's an everyday thing. You wake up and your entire day is revolved around what you're eating, when you're exercising, what you're doing. And it provides so much discipline. It shows you so much consistency and builds so much character of the amount of hours you have to put in at the gym and at home and sleeping. And it just builds so much character and so much discipline that when you do start to see consistent results, you start to understand that, okay, I can achieve this. What else can I achieve? And that, for me and for most people, becomes an addiction. And then once they understand they can apply that to fitness, they can apply that to relationships or their careers or anything. And it just kind of spirals from there, which is why fitness is just such an incredible addiction and hobby for most people to have and start.
And I love that your sense of fitness isn't like so much that you see out there in social media about, showing off or the flexing or whatever. I mean, you truly take it to um, showing your self-love, right? This is your sense of self-care. This is how you're developing yourself, mind, body, spirit. And Adam, I can't help but think as I hear Jordan speak about how much it parallels with your own personal philosophy that you use in Edge about beyond the status quo.
Well, thank you, Zan, for bringing that up. I've thought that too as I listened to Jordan as I've followed him. I think there's definitely some similarities there. Not when it comes to the muscles. Um, I can't really compete with that. But obviously, I'm pretty comfortable in who I am. Otherwise, I would have never allowed this guy to come on the show. Are you kidding me? Um, but yeah, I do think, Jordan, one of the things that I talk about in my platform, The Edge of Adventure, as it relates to service in particular, just the need for all of us to be brave and to push past the status quo, to do those things that maybe we think we couldn't do or might be afraid to do. But as it relates in particular to getting outside of just ourselves and the things that we um, spend our lives so focused on so often, the things we need, and sort of this over focus on self. And then we think, well, something is still missing. I spent all this time searching for what I want and what I need, and I still feel like something's missing. And then at the end of the day, you wake up and realize, a part of finding what else is out there in life is realizing that I'm not the center of the universe and I can do something to help somebody else. And it's a huge blessing for me. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, a little bit about The Edge of Adventure, which ties into Where Gals Wander, Zan's platform, so well. And it's why I think, became friends and discovered each other on social media. I think it's coming up on 4 years now. So
Yeah.
he and I met.
Wow.
But your tagline, of course, is about more to life and finding more to life. So, I think the three of us talking here, there's a lot of overlap in our heart, more than the platform, just the heart in knowing that, for crying out loud, there's more to life than a lot of what we spend our time on. And I think it's a very healthy pursuit to try to find that. And I know that's one reason, Jordan, why your platform and your heart caught Zan's eye. So thank you for that. Looking at great pictures here, you said that you're into solo travel, and I want you to expound a little bit more on that. What do you get out of solo travel? What is solo travel forcing you to do that maybe hanging out with your friends doesn't let you do?
Yeah. Highly recommend it to everyone just to try to see if it's for you or not. Solo traveling is incredible for a lot of reasons. One is there's no compromising. You're doing what you please whenever you please. There's no drama. You get to do what you want whenever you want. And it doesn't close you off to being surrounded by your friends or family. You're not limited by one or two or a group of people. You're putting yourself out there to meet tourists or locals or other groups of people, and it encourages that so much. A lot of solo travelers stay in hostels, which are normally the highlight of people's traveling, because you meet like-minded, ambitious people that have the most incredible stories to tell. And when you're solo traveling, you're more inclined to meet these people. You're more open to meet these people. And for me personally, I think it's the compromising aspect, which is why I'm so addicted to solo traveling. Doing what I want when I want, because I'm a very organized and OCD type of person when I travel. I feel like it's hard to compromise. But I think I've got so many incredible stories from so many amazing travelers that I just bumped into. And I wouldn't have had that if I was with my friends. I would have been doing different things. I would have been maybe shopping or drinking or doing some things that I was obligated to do because I was with other people. But my life, I can honestly say my life has been changed through stories that I've heard, through just having a bowl of cereal with a random in a hostel has completely altered my life. And I'm incredibly grateful for that. But it's just one of those things where I put myself in that situation and allow that to happen. And it doesn't, yeah, I've been to a lot of hostels and nothing bad's happened to me. So if it's, a lot of people are scared of going to hostels or solo traveling, but it's a necessary risk. And if it's for you, it's for you. If it's not, then it's not for you. But it's one of those things where you should definitely try and see if it is.
First, I want to say I saw the before and after picture kind of flash by. Like that's pretty amazing. And what span of time was that taken, those before and after shots?
That was on and off. So I was traveling throughout those years, but that was 2 year transformation, 2 years transformation.
Wow. That is some hardcore discipline.
Thank you.
And then tell us one of these stories. Tell us about one of the folks that you met on these journeys that was able to influence or change your life.
Yeah, I met he's got a Spanish name, starts with E. Estevan in Amsterdam one morning, and just a smart, well educated, you could tell straight away, and we just started to speak. And his story, long story short, was he was from London. He had a fiance. He lived in an apartment in Liverpool Street. He had a great life, but he wasn't happy. So after a couple of weeks, he told his fiance that he wanted to break it off. She surprisingly understood. He quit his job, sold everything he had, and he started to backpack Asia. And that was 6 years ago. When I met him in Amsterdam, that was 6 years from when he did it. And he said he was now fully satisfied, completely in love with his lifestyle. And now I'm still in contact with him 3 years later. He's teaching yoga in Hawaii, and he's never been more happier. His fiance's met somebody else, and what he did, his stories of, he just bought a bike when he was traveling Asia. He did, I think it was 91 countries in the span of 4 years, and he thought he was happy with a false life that his parents expected him to do. But when he knew that he wanted more out of life, and that's what his travelings was for, he seeked it, he found it, and now he's actually satisfied, he's fulfilled. And it goes to show that a lot of people have a false sense of happiness, but when they kind of pursue what they want to do, they really find what they truly love. And it was just so admirable to see somebody who I deemed had it all, gave it all up and pursued what he really wanted to do. So I saw that it was possible, and it was just so admirable for me to actually see and meet somebody.
I just have to comment on that just because I think That happens so often, right? This is what we think we're supposed to do to be happy. So we follow that prescription, right? And then we check all those boxes, and yet we still don't have that sense of fulfillment.
I agree,
Yeah.
100%. It's a large thing to do with conditioning. Where I'm from, anyway, it's becoming like a lot more aware, but we're conditioned to do what we have to do at a young age. And especially if you have parents that have a lot of expectations from you, it's very hard to take a step back and realize that you're your own person and it's your responsibility to make the life you want to have. So it becomes very hard when it's conditioned at a young age to go to school, to get a full-time job, to go to university, to get married, to have kids, to get a mortgage. But I think now with social media and a lot more people speaking up and living these lives, that the exposure is becoming incredibly large. And yeah, a lot's changing, a lot has changed, and a lot will change. So it's great to
Yeah.
see, I guess.
Jordan, as we look at some of the collection or your collection of photography, you need to give us, I don't know, 2 or 3 tips, things you've learned. And I find this, and here's why. You're the one that said that you really weren't a photographer. You weren't into photography. That was something that came around in recent years, and it's a particular connection with your father who passed. I think that's the significance of that is very, very meaningful. But from purely a technical standpoint, what would be some of 2 or 3 tips or things you've learned about photography that have helped you that you could pass along to the rest of us that are just doing our best?
Yeah. Definitely lighting. Lighting plays a huge part in everything. Regardless of what equipment you're using, lighting can change a photo dramatically. Then the angle of the photo, so being creative and getting different style of angles, wide, anything like if you're using a GoPro camera, a drone, a phone, the angle and yeah, it changes the whole alteration of the photo. And I guess editing plays a very large factor in a lot of photos. But if you can get great lighting, great angles in, it just something so basic can look magical. And basically, all the photos you see on like National Geographic or all these incredible photos, they're just basic shots of just people with great eyes, and they just learn. I guess I still don't know what I'm doing, but I'm in the pursuit of really building it, and I love it. My photos are weird. Some just look random, but I personally like my style, and I just find that it's yeah, this all these little small things just contribute towards it.
Yeah, I think we're both just trying to ask how did you get so good? Another thing I noticed about your photography is there's a lot of symmetry, that makes it really visually interesting too. And I can, as I'm, scrolling through the Instagram feed, I can always recognize what photos are yours before I even see your name. You do just have a particular type of, brand or style that kind of goes with it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you. Style, I'm not too sure. I guess when you're traveling a lot, it definitely helps with capturing incredible moments. And again, I do most of my trips solo, so I have a lot of time to focus on photography, vlogging, and what I do want to capture. I love taking photos of just strangers and just random things because they're generally the incredible photos of just some person holding food or an eagle or just that photo there. The one in Africa is just these random shots catching the perfect moment is just for me random, but it says a lot. And yeah,
Yeah.
just keeping an eye out for it, I guess.
Another thing you have an appreciation for, and it ties into the photography, is nature. So put that into perspective, the importance of nature. How does it, what does it bring out of us if we get out into it and, we get away from the desk and the keyboard and we get out into the nature? What happens then?
Personally, for me, nature's always been my escape, my form of clarity. And it's just, I think for most people, it attaches, like you said, it attaches everyone from the desk, from the job, from the 9 to 5, from the responsibilities. You're just there enjoying the weather, enjoying the nature, enjoying the scenery. It just feels like it allows you to be present in the moment. It allows you to reflect sometimes too, but it kind of gives you the option to do as you please. And for me personally, it's one of those things where when I need to just gather my thoughts and clear my head, that's where I go. I just go for a long hike by myself, just immerse myself in nature, and it just clears everything. It always makes me present in the moment, which sometimes it's very hard for me to do, and most people. But yeah, it feels therapeutic for me anyway.
This right here is one of my favorite photos.
Yeah.
That's in Botswana in Africa, South Africa. Thank you. It's yeah, that was on a Kentucky tour actually. They put that in their brochures. It was awful weather, horrible weather, but incredible moment. We saw a lion shortly after that, which was fantastic.
What's one of the coolest things that you've seen on your adventures?
Seen.
Or done or experienced?
Probably the coolest one that stands out will be climbing to the top of Mount Fuji during the typhoon. It was the only time in my life where I thought I was going to die, just because when you're halfway down Fuji at the start, it was about 40 degrees. And then halfway up, it goes to about minus. With the typhoon also, when all your clothes are drenched, I got like hypothermia, but a lot of people started to go down the mountain, but a few of us went up and continued to the summit. And I was one of those people, thankfully. And it was dumb. It was silly. Should have definitely went down, but it just showed me that you can do it. Like, just put your mind to it. You can do it. And I captured one of my favorite photos going down. It was the photo of me holding the GoPro on top of the mountain. That was about 4 years ago. To this day, my favorite photo. And it just allowed me to prove to myself that I can do it if I set my mind to it, regardless if things are out of your control. And yeah, that kind of showed me a lot.
I have a follow-up question too, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. So another thing that I'm wondering, because your lifestyle is so different than everyone else's, and have you ever had moments where you've had a moment of regret that you wish that you either had or had not done something during your travels?
During my travels, in terms of travels or my lifestyle, the decisions I've made.
Both.
We will accept an answer to either.
Yes.
In terms of travels, no, because I can honestly say no, because I'm very smart. I don't stay up late. I don't party. I don't drink. Drinking is a massive factor. A lot of bad stories I've heard when people travel is caused by drinking. And I haven't drank in 5 years, and that's helped me be very in control of what I do. And in terms of life decisions, my only moment where I can think of was when COVID hit and I lost my job as a travel agent. And I denied a corporate job that paid very good money, but I knew I wasn't going to be happy there. So I still took the risk and I believed in myself and I didn't take the corporate job. And that just, it wasn't a regret, but it felt nice knowing that I was willing to go all in for the life I want to live. And it's hard to regret something when I guess all of us can fail the 9-to-5 job, or all of us can fail the pursuit of our dream life. So like, why not take the risk of pursuing your goals and dreams? So that's my mindset anyway, I guess.
Well, Jordan, as we get toward the end of the show here, I like to wrap up with some really tough questions. Okay. And one of those would be, because I heard you, I wrote this down. You talked about wanting to live a big life. What is a big life?
Good question. I think it's different for everyone. People for me, it's happiness for everyone, regardless. Happiness is everything. And for everyone, it's different. For me, happiness is experiencing, exploring, finding meaning in things. And I can do that most when I'm traveling. So I want to live a big life, meaning I want to travel the world. I want to inspire people and show people that it's accessible for anyone. We live in such an incredible time where you can just pick up a camera and record or post or share something, and it can literally change people's lives. Where you can become financially free or literally be a nomad. and travel the world. And all you have to do is just start and believe in yourself and just have a goal in mind. And for me, anyway, that's exactly what I want to be doing. I've known that for the past 4 years, and now I've just been building my assets and myself to achieve that. And I guess the best advice I can give to anyone watching this is just start, regardless how far-fetched it may seem. Just start, believe in yourself, and just pursue it, because it's going to be so much more rewarding and satisfying. Yeah.
You said you had 2 questions, so I'm
Did
waiting.
I?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and then I got to thinking we're supposed to be taking turns,
Yeah,
and
well.
and Zan's supposed to go next, but you did kind of stole one of my questions earlier, or my opportunities to ask the question. No, seriously, that's such a great answer, and again, I think that's why we wanted to have you on the show. With the kind of thought that goes into the platform, the life that you're living, and how you share that with the rest of us. So maybe you've already said it, but my final question would just be, what do we need out here, the people you're talking to? Some of them you're going to be meeting for the first time through this medium. What do we need in order to live the big life for us, the big life we're called to? What maybe stands in the way between us and living that life?
As cliche as it is, it's just we put walls up for ourselves. You just need to start. That's probably the best advice I can give. It's the best advice I was given 4 years ago from somebody I was following on social media. He told me to just start. I started, and here we are. I didn't know what I was doing. I still kind of don't, but I'm in the pursuit of achieving things, and like there's no failing, right? We only learn from our mistakes, and it's just such an awesome thing where you just fail, you learn, you grow, you keep developing. And a lot of people set themselves a lot of large goals or have these ideas, but the issue is people just don't start because of responsibility, because of jobs, loans, all these things we appoint ourselves for. And a lot of people live in regret, not ever pursuing what they want to do because they imprison themselves with responsibilities. So best advice I could give would be just to start, regardless how big or how small your goals are. As long as you start, you'll learn, you'll grow, you'll develop. Don't care what other people think, believe in yourself, and just don't quit. It's that easy, and the process is just so addictive. It's so much fun.
How can the folks watching this today, how can they help support you, Jordan? What can they do to help you in your journey?
Shoot me a message on Instagram. Like I love literally, I love hearing these people of just starting, pursuing their fitness goals or traveling or doing solo trips for the first time because of, one of the videos they watch from me. And it's just so fulfilling. I get so much, it sounds bad, but I get so much validation when people actually do something and they're in the pursuit of pursuing their goals. And if it's something that I've said that's transpired, it's just, I get so much validation. It's just so reassuring of my journey, what I'm doing. I've learned this from other social media people, and now I'm sharing that message. It's just, we live in such a beautiful time. So if you do want to support, just do you, pursue your goals, and tell me what you're doing. Tell me what you're pursuing, and that's all I want, I guess.
Jordan Desira has been our guest today. Am I saying it pretty close to right?
Correct. No,
Okay.
I love Pizzle's correct.
Okay, Jordan Desira. It's really awesome, and especially hearing you say it, and as I try to mimic that, she brought up symmetry in your photos. There's a symmetry in your name, which is cool. Jordan Desira, right? I like it. So everybody look him up if you haven't already. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and connect with him. Like, again, that's really his only request. Connect with him, let him know that you're out there and that you appreciate what he's doing, and sharing the journey. Seriously, Jordan, what you're doing, it's a part of who you are. It's a self-expression. I can tell it's a part of you being who you are, but you are inspiring other people. You're helping other people. You're encouraging them. And in the same way you got encouragement from somebody else, you've passed it on. and you've paid it forward. And I just want to congratulate you on that. And enjoyed talking to you today, taking part out of a day out of your time out of your day on Saturday. And it's we're at all different times on the clock. Is you're in Melbourne, she's in California, I'm over here in Georgia, and of course we got people tuning in right now in Europe and around the world. It's such an awesome feeling to know that we have such a great community. So again, Jordan, thank you for your time today. Thanks for being who you are and sharing it with the world.
All right, thank you guys for having me, and thank you guys for doing this. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Keep doing what you guys are doing.
Thank you. I just want to remind everyone, connect with Jordan, follow Jordan. I think that that's another big piece too. Following on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, to help him grow and develop, and also give him that cheer, right? And you can also follow us here at Wander to the Edge on those same platforms, except not TikTok because it confuses Adam.
It does. It does. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, I can barely keep up with the reels on Instagram, but I know that I think they were just a copy of the TikTok, but I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
I'll figure it out one day.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Anya actually just took Where Gals Wander and put it on TikTok, and she wants to help with that. So we'll see what that ends up looking
No, I mean,
like.
to me, that just shows sheer bravery on your part. All right. Well, let her know. I'll go to TikTok if I can see her work there on behalf of Where Gals Wander. So, all right, Jordan, thank you, brother. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and definitely help Jordan out. Follow him, share out his stuff. Do the same for us. We appreciate it. Wander to the Edge on all the different platforms. And again, saying it was great spending some time with you today.
And join us again next week, right here on Wander to the Edge.